Hi, my name is Darren Joseph from HEJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today I wanted to just share a few thoughts on gifting when you're a tax resident in Spain. And it can be particularly complicated if you're deemed to be US domiciled and Spain tax resident. What do I mean by that? So we know that if you have a US passport or if you have a green card, so you're a lawful permanent resident of the US, you're subject to tax on your income regardless of where you reside. Now, separate to income tax, you also have transfer taxes. What are transfer taxes in the US? Those are your gift taxes as well as the estate taxes. So those transfer taxes are not a function of where you are tax resident, but where you are tax domiciled. And there's a distinction between residency and domicile. Unfortunately, tax domicile in the US isn't defined really in the tax code. So understand that tax residence is separate from tax domicile. So you can be a tax resident of the US, but not tax domicile there for transfer tax purposes. So that's something to bear in mind. So now layer on top of that the fact that, hey, you're now living in Spain, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the beaches, enjoying all that Spain has to offer. And they may be gifting. How does gifting work between the two jurisdictions? That is something that requires careful thoughts and careful analysis of the fact patterns. What is the nature of the gift? Where's the gift physically located? Where's the person who's giving the donor? Where's the donor located? Where's the donee? Where's the person who's receiving it? Where are they physically located? And where are they tax resident? And where are they domiciled? So from Spain's point of view, here are three factors to consider. One, we need to understand regional autonomy. A crucial factor is that while Spain has a national framework for gift tax, that's the Impuesto de Sucesiones y Donaciones, the autonomous communities also have considerable power to set their own rates, allowances, and exemptions. And that creates incredible differences in the tax burdens across Spain. So it really varies depending on where the parties are located. The second thing to consider in Spain is that whereas in the US, the tax is levied on the party that's giving the gift, that person has the responsibility for filling out the paperwork and may be subject to a tax, assuming that they pass their lifetime exclusion. In Spain, it's the opposite. It's the person who's receiving it that has the tax burden. And then the third thing to consider is there may be other taxes that are triggered by a gift, not just the gift tax. What do I mean by that? For example, if the gifted asset increases in value, the person receiving it may be subject to a capital gains tax. Also, in the case of real estate, there may be a plusvalia, there may be another tax that may be triggered by the gift, and that tax is triggered by an increase in value in the real estate. So other taxes may be associated with it aside from the gift tax. So gifting, both from a US and from a Spain point of view, can be particularly complex for that US exposed person who is also exposed to Spain. So please get advice, and get advice. My name is Darren Joseph from HEJ.tax.